I need you to tell me what's going on!
They got him! I'm not leaving
There's nothing. There is nothing. Such a pretty dress.
Today we're diving into 18 scary, underrated horror movies that slipped under the radar but deserve a lot more attention. And if you enjoy discovering hidden horror gems, make sure to like and subscribe. Number 18, Trash Fire.
Relax and watch a true vessel of God do his work.
Owen is a deeply cynical man who lives his life pushing everyone away with sarcasm and emotional distance, but when his girlfriend pushes him to reconnect with his estranged grandmother, he is forced to confront a past he has spent years trying to forget. What begins as an uncomfortable family reunion slowly turns into something far more disturbing, as buried secrets, childhood trauma, and psychological scars begin to surface inside the isolated house. Directed by Richard Bates, the film blends dark comedy with psychological horror, creating an uncomfortable atmosphere where emotional pain becomes more terrifying than anything supernatural. The tension grows through cruel conversations, strange behavior, and memories that refuse to stay buried. Number 17, The Monster. A cold, violent storm strands a young mother and her daughter on an empty forest road when their car suddenly dies in the middle of nowhere. Alone and waiting for rescue, their already fragile relationship begins to crack as they realize something unnatural is moving in the woods around them. A vicious, inhuman creature that stalks patiently and strikes without warning. With only passing headlights and endless rain surrounding them, the night turns into a desperate fight for survival, pushing the mother to face her past mistakes and protect the only person she cannot lose, her child. Directed by Brian Bertino, the film locks you into one long, terrifying night where survival means confronting both the monster outside and the one within. Number 16, Flux Gourmet.
Further into oblivion.
The film centers on a trio of avant-garde performance artists who move into a remote institute dedicated to sonic catering, an unusual art form where cooking, eating, and bodily rhythms are transformed into experimental sound and sensory experiences. As their fierce creative competition and eccentric personalities collide under the careful supervision of their mysterious benefactor, a quiet journalist named Stones is brought in to document their work and gradually becomes caught not only in their rivalries but also in his own growing physical discomfort. Flux Gourmet is a strange black comedy with a visceral tone that draws viewers into a carefully designed world of bizarre rituals, artistic obsession, and strangely captivating sensory performances. Number 15, Spawn.
Just what they want, you're playing their game.
Then I'll play dirty.
The war between heaven and hell depends on the choices.
Al Simmons, an elite government assassin, is betrayed and killed by the very people he once trusted. But death is only the beginning. Reborn as Spawn, a hell-forged warrior wrapped in living armor, Al returns to Earth scarred, confused, and bound to a dark purpose he never chose. 5 years have passed. His wife has rebuilt her life, and he now stands between hell, which wants him to lead their army, and heaven, which sees him as a dangerous anomaly. Caught between revenge and redemption, he struggles to control his terrifying new abilities while being manipulated by a sinister demon clown assigned to guide him. As dark alleys turn into war zones and fire falls from the sky, Spawn finds himself fighting not just for his life, but for his soul. Number 14, Half-Light.
He's coming towards us.
There's nobody there.
After a devastating tragedy upends her life, best-selling mystery writer Rachel Carlson withdraws to a lonely cottage along the rugged Scottish coast, hoping isolation and time will help her recover from overwhelming grief and a stubborn writer's block. Surrounded by crashing waves and mist-covered cliffs, Rachel begins to experience disturbing visions that blur the boundary between memory and something far more unsettling, as the quiet village and its strange routines slowly erode her sense of reality. Drawn to a remote lighthouse and its keeper, whose presence feels strangely unreal, she holds on to a fragile sense of hope while the unexplained events grow more frequent and the secrets of the shoreline pull her deeper into psychological doubt and unease. Number 13, the parenting.
What the hell's going on in here?
Rohan and Josh have just gotten engaged, and to celebrate, they invite both of their families to a secluded house in the woods for a weekend meant to help everyone bond. What starts as awkward conversations and clashing personalities quickly descends into chaos when they discover the house is haunted by a strange 400-year-old spirit with unresolved business. As paranormal incidents escalate, from moving objects to sudden blackouts, the families are forced to confront their tensions while also trying to make it through the night. Directed by Craig Johnson, The Parenting blends supernatural chaos with family dysfunction in a horror comedy where the haunting may not be the biggest problem in the house. Number 12, Mum and Dad.
We don't have secrets in this family, do you understand?
Polish immigrant Lena accepts a cleaning job at Heathrow Airport, where a friendly invitation from her cheerful co-worker Bertie brings her to the suburban home of Bertie's peculiar family, Mum, Dad, and their strangely adopted children. What begins as warm hospitality soon turns into a disturbing nightmare when Lena realizes this seemingly normal household hides dark intentions and unsettling rituals behind their welcoming smiles. Trapped inside their suffocating world, she is forced to navigate their twisted family dynamics while searching for a way to escape the growing danger surrounding her. Number 11, Backtrack.
Imagine all of this.
I don't think I can help you in the way that you need help.
Dr. Peter Bauer, a grieving psychotherapist, is still haunted by the tragic loss of his young daughter and struggles to hold together both his marriage and his career. When a silent girl named Elizabeth Valentine appears in his office clutching a mysterious note with the number 12.7.87, Peter's unease quickly grows as he realizes his new patients all died on or around that date. Driven to uncover the truth, he returns to his childhood hometown where a long-buried train accident resurfaces. As past and present begin to blur together, Peter is forced to confront hidden guilt, unresolved trauma, and a haunting that may be tied to his own past. Number 10, Amer. Amer is a bold, sensory-driven psychological horror film that abandons traditional storytelling in favor of a surreal, highly stylized tribute to Italian giallo cinema, unfolding across 3 atmospheric chapters in the life of Anna. From her early childhood encounters with death, desire, and shadowy presences through the confusing and provocative emotions of adolescence, to her return as an adult to the place where her fears first began. Anna's story is told through striking close-ups, vivid colors, and dreamlike sequences that blend inner emotion with cinematic spectacle. Dialogue is sparse, and the film instead relies on carefully crafted visuals and sound design to create unease, pulling viewers into a strange world where sensuality and psychological tension constantly overlap. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Heretic.
I think that we're being studied.
It will make your hearts beat.
2 young missionaries knock on a stranger's door expecting a polite conversation about faith, but instead find themselves trapped inside a house where belief and reality slowly begin to distort. The homeowner, Mr. Reed, greets them with calm friendliness at first, yet his behavior gradually reveals something far more unsettling beneath the surface. As their discussions about religion and truth grow more intense, the line between persuasion, control, and psychological terror starts to disappear, turning a simple visit into a quiet nightmare. Adam Chaplin. After suffering a devastating personal loss, a man is pulled into a brutal path of revenge that pushes him far beyond the limits of humanity. In a violent, corrupt city, he confronts criminal forces while mysterious and terrifying powers awaken inside him. As his rage grows and his abilities become more monstrous, the boundary between man and creature begins to vanish. Driven by grief, fury, and something deeply unnatural, he transforms into a relentless force of destruction. The Wretched.
I need you to tell me what's going on! Ben!
A troubled teenage boy dealing with his parents' divorce moves to a quiet lakeside town, where he begins to notice his neighbor behaving in increasingly strange ways as rumors of an ancient witch circulate through the community. As he starts to investigate, he realizes the woman next door may not be human at all, and a hidden danger slowly creeps closer to his family. Torn between typical teenage distractions and a growing sense of dread, he must figure out the truth before the threat reaches home. The Station.
Du bist noch nicht einschläfern, oder?
At an isolated research station high in the Alps, a group of scientists discovers a strange red substance leaking from a melting glacier. Soon after, nearby wildlife begins to show disturbing biological changes, and the team realizes their discovery may have triggered something dangerous. Cut off from the outside world and surrounded by frozen wilderness, they face an escalating situation as nature itself begins to change in terrifying and unpredictable ways. Number 9. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
There is a war coming. I shall kill them all. Only the living can kill the dead.
Before becoming the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln uncovers a hidden world behind some of the nation's darkest chapters. A secret network of vampires feeding on the blood of the enslaved. After seeing his mother killed by one of these creatures, the young Lincoln secretly trains under a mysterious mentor, learning how to hunt and kill vampires with a silver-bladed axe and unwavering determination. As he rises through politics, he lives a double life, balancing leadership by day and brutal battles against a growing vampire force by night. The Civil War becomes more than a fight over the future of the nation. It becomes a war against the undead. History is reimagined with blood, shadows, and vengeance in this stylized action horror retelling of an American legend. Number 8. In Fabric.
Such a pretty dress.
Sheila, a quiet bank clerk longing for something to change in her life, visits a strange department store during the winter sales and leaves with a striking red dress that seems almost alive. At first, the dress gives her confidence and attention, but soon, strange things begin to happen around her. Household appliances break, unexplained bruises appear, and dreams slowly blur into unsettling reality as the dress passes from one owner to another, each falling under its eerie influence. The store's unsettling staff speak in cryptic phrases, and the dress seems to bring bizarre, unexplained consequences wherever it goes. In Fabric is a hypnotic, slow-burning horror story filled with stylized visuals and quiet, surreal tension. Number 7. Becky.
I don't want to have to hurt you.
But I do want to hurt you real bad.
13-year-old Becky Hooper and her father, Jeff, retreat to their remote lake house, hoping to recover after the recent loss of her mother. But their quiet weekend turns into a nightmare when a violent gang of escaped neo-Nazis led by Dominic invades the property. What was meant to be time to heal quickly becomes a brutal fight for survival. Becky's rebellious nature turns into fierce determination as she uses her intelligence, improvised traps, and relentless courage to protect her home, her father's fiancée Kayla, and Kayla's young son Ty. The invasion forces Becky to face her grief, her anger, and the trust she still struggles to give. Explosive and intense, this action horror is as much about a girl fighting for her family as it is about the battle unfolding at the lake house. Number 6. Sauna. Set in the harsh year 1595 as a long and violent war between Sweden and Russia comes to a fragile end. Sauna follows two brothers assigned to map and mark the new border through the remote Finnish wilderness. Heretic, a battle-hardened soldier, and his younger, more thoughtful brother Knut carry the burden of war and their own hidden guilt as they travel toward an uncertain future, haunted by what they have done. When their small expedition discovers a remote swamp village with a strange sauna believed to wash away sins, the promise of forgiveness pulls them into a place where myth and reality begin to merge, and the line between redemption and horror slowly disappears. Number 5. Lord of Illusions.
It's not real.
Stop looking at me!
Next!
You want to come with me?
Private Detective Harry is used to unusual cases, but nothing prepares him for what lies behind the velvet curtains of Los Angeles' world of stage magic. Hired to protect famous illusionist Philip Swan, Harry soon discovers that Swan's past is tied to real sorcery. He was once part of a cult led by a powerful, nearly immortal man named Nyx, who believed he was destined to bring chaos into the world. When Swan suddenly dies during a live performance, Harry is drawn into a hidden world where magic is not performance, but a dangerous, ancient force. As followers of Nyx attempt to bring their leader back, Harry moves through visions, rituals, and collapsing illusions to stop something that refuses to remain buried. Stage illusion and the supernatural collide in a story where every trick hides something real and terrifying. Number 4. Berberian Sound Studio.
Who's there? Who's there?
Gilderoy, a quiet British sound engineer, travels to Italy expecting to work on a simple nature documentary, only to find himself inside the disturbing world of an Italian horror film studio. Day after day, he records screams, cuts vegetables to imitate flesh, and edits endless loops of terrifying sounds, while the violence itself is never shown. It slowly begins to affect him. Isolated by language and increasingly unsettled by the grotesque material, Gilderoy's sense of reality starts to slip with every recorded scream and every reel he edits. The boundary between the horror film and his own mind begins to disappear, creating a disorienting world built entirely from sound and fear. Directed by Peter Strickland, Berberian Sound Studio is a claustrophobic, surreal psychological descent where horror is heard rather than seen, and every sound leaves a psychological scar. Number 3. The Night House.
You're safe now.
After the sudden death of her husband, Beth moves into the lakeside house he built, hoping the quiet surroundings will help her cope with her grief. But the house soon begins to reveal unsettling secrets. Alone in the large, silent home at night, she starts to find strange notes, hidden spaces and quiet clues that suggest her husband's death may not have been what it appeared to be. As she searches for answers, the house seems to reflect deeper truths about identity, loss, and the hidden sides of the people we think we know. With subtle tension and a grounded performance by Rebecca Hall, the story slowly shifts from a haunted house mystery into something more personal and psychological. Directed by David Bruckner, The Night House draws you into a home built on grief but hiding something far more mysterious beneath the surface. Number 2. Katalin Varga.
Maguk nők milyen meggyőzően játsszák az általános.
Katalin, a hardened mother living in a remote Transylvanian village, sees her life collapse when her husband learns that their young son is not biologically his, forcing her and the boy onto an old horse-drawn cart and out of the only home they have ever known. Cast out and driven by a quiet but growing need for answers, she begins a long and uneasy journey across the haunting Carpathian countryside to confront the secrets of her past and uncover the identity of the boy's real father. Along the way, each village and stranger seems to blur memory with suspicion, testing her determination as the harsh beauty of the landscape hides old wounds and buried truths. Katalin Varga is a dark, folk-like psychological thriller that blends rural atmosphere with a stark character study, drawing you into a relentless journey toward justice and personal reckoning. Number 1. Green Room.
And then it's over.
A struggling punk band takes a last-minute gig at a remote bar run by neo-Nazis, thinking it's just an easy way to make some quick money. But after their performance, one of the band members walks into the green room and accidentally witnesses a brutal murder. Suddenly, the club locks down around them and the band finds themselves trapped as unwanted witnesses in the worst possible place. Forced to fight for their lives, they must defend themselves against a violent skinhead gang led by the bar's cold and calculating owner, as the night turns into a tense and desperate standoff. Directed by Jeremy Saulnier, the film blends raw physical danger with the tension of isolation and a constant ticking clock, turning the club into a closed battlefield where survival is the only goal. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Suburban Gothic.
Paranormal stuff?
I've experienced it firsthand. I used to see ghosts regularly, and then just suddenly it stopped.
A quirky young man returns to his quiet suburban hometown, only to discover that strange paranormal activity has taken over his childhood home. Unable to ignore the growing disturbances, he teams up with a local misfit to investigate what is really happening. As they follow the strange clues, long-buried secrets begin to surface. Together, they find themselves dealing with forces far stranger than they ever expected. Red Riding Hood.
Happy again. Come away with me.
Valerie is a young woman living in a medieval village haunted by a mysterious wolf that breaks a long-standing peace agreement, throwing the village into fear and suspicion. She is caught between her childhood love and a man she is supposed to marry while a famous witch hunter arrives to reveal the wolf's true identity. As the attacks continue, fear spreads through the village and Valerie must decide who she can trust and what she is willing to risk to survive. Chernobyl Diaries.
Take
People, not my brother! Please help us!
A group of tourists travels to the restricted zone near the Chernobyl disaster site for an extreme sightseeing trip. After entering the abandoned city, their guide suddenly disappears and strange things begin to happen around them. Trapped inside the silent ruins with night approaching, they search desperately for a way out. But they soon realize they are not alone in the empty city. Graveyard shift.
You can't put me down there. You can't put anybody down there.
We're broken.
When a drifter takes a night shift job at an old, run-down textile mill, he quickly realizes the place hides more than broken machines and rats. Workers begin to experience strange and frightening events deep in the basement, where something monstrous seems to live beneath the factory. As the danger grows, he must work with the other employees to uncover what is hiding below before it's too late.